Okay, welcome back, and this is episode 3 in the Training Fundamentals series with your physique coach, myself, Alex Connor from Fearless Training. Now, we've gone over behavior and lifestyle, okay? We've gone over adherence, and now we're up to level 2. It's volume, frequency, and intensity. Now, if you've not seen the first 2 episodes, go back and watch them, because this is not going to make complete sense. It will still make sense, but this is designed to be watched sequentially, as is, okay, the progression of the order of importance of these principles. So, volume, intensity, and frequency. Volume, frequency, intensity, whatever way you want to put them. What are they, what do they mean, and how do they relate? Once again, I've got some notes, I've got some recommendations for you. But if you want more in-depth knowledge, go to my academy. That's where I break it down into further detail and extrapolate it out in more concise measurements. Now, volume relates to the totality, so the total volume you're doing each week in regards to training. So how many kilograms or pounds, for my American viewers, are you putting through, okay, your muscles for that training week, for that microcycle, okay? The intensity is how heavy, how hard are those sessions, okay? How much weight is on the bar? How close to failure are you, okay? And frequency is how often are you doing it, okay? So how often are you getting in the gym? How often are you hitting that muscle group? How often are you hitting that intensity, that volume, etc.? So these three principles work together in unison. And if one changes, the others have got to adapt as well. So for example, you can't just bump up your volume, your frequency, and intensity all in one go. You can try, but you're not going to get very far, because that would mean you're lifting super heavy with loads of sets and reps all of the time. And that is a recipe for overtraining, under-recovery, and non-adherence and regression. And that's not what we want here. So we've got to have a look at what can we do within those realms. Now, once again, if you're watching from the future, we may be back in the gym. If not, currently, gyms are not open internationally at this time. Regardless, the principles remain true. So what we've got to look at, how we can manage those variables through the week. So ensuring that we've got adequate amounts of volume, okay, the frequency is also adequate, and then also the actual intensity that goes with it. So I'm going to make this bespoke to our situation. When we're usually in the gym, the intensity is relatively high most of the time, depending on your main goal. Here on this channel, you're probably here because you want to gain muscle, lose fat, and get strong, okay? And you want to do it pragmatically. So in that case, we're generally working anywhere between at the low end, the 1 to 3 rep range, okay? But generally, we're going to be in the 6 to 12 rep range, and then obviously we do go up into that higher rep range sometimes too. Now, regardless of that, when we look at the actual intensity that we pop into the muscle, or we actually go for, it doesn't really matter to a degree when we do our reps and sets. They're all congruent and in relation to how hard it actually is. So for example, you can still grow muscle by doing 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 reps, as long as that mechanical tension, okay, and that stress and stimuli is actually hard enough to cause an adaptation. So a lot of people at the minute are struggling, and they're getting worried because they think they're going to lose all their gains. And the fact of the matter is that's just not true. Even if you have to use your own body weight, you might have to do more reps, okay, and work closer to failure than you would do with gym or resistance-based equipment. But at the same time, you're still putting mechanical tension through that muscle, which means you're still going to cause that stress and stimuli to maintain, and if not even grow and adapt new muscle, especially for beginner and intermediate athletes as well. Okay, so it might just mean that now we need to do a little bit more volume because we don't have access to, perfect, convenient, weighted exercises and equipment. So say I'm doing press-ups or rack chins, or I'm doing dips on a chair, or I've got a couple of dumbbells. Perhaps, I usually work in a 6 to 12 rep range for most of my volume because the intensity or the load that I can use is appropriate to that. But now I'm doing 20, 30, 40, 50 reps, okay, and maybe more sets, and I'm increasing the frequency just to get that volume into the muscle. And something to note here is RPE, which is rated perceived exertion, which means how close to failure are you going in your perception, okay? So it's your rated perception of effort, okay, RPE. So 10 is failure, 1 is the easiest thing you've ever done. we now need to move a little bit closer to failure when we're not working with gym equipment. When we're working with gym equipment, there is a time and a place for failure, but that's generally not all the time, purely based on the fact that recovery is not going to be adequate, and then you can't increase your frequency, which means you can't go in and hit that muscle group again, which is the whole reason why the whole bro split can work, but may not be the most strategic approach, especially for someone who wants to grow and build muscle and sustain that in a more effective manner, shall we say. So that's what we need to adapt to at the moment. We may increase our frequency as well, which means now that we're obviously not using weights or as much weight, we might train our legs or train our muscles, our full body, whatever the split is you're doing, a little bit more frequently. So I've recommended for my clients at the minute, doing a full body split and having a day off, alternate. So on, working out, rest, working out, rest, working out, rest, full body rest, full body rest, full body rest, or lower upper off, so 2 on 1 off, or even a 3 on 1 off, legs push pull off, legs push pull off. Just because we might as well hit those muscle groups a lot more frequently because we're not using the same intensity and we're trying to acclimate volume. So again, it's all about balancing those variables. So this is the level that comes after adherence. So when you're actually planning out a program, this is something that you need to do, okay? Something that you need to think about depending on your level, your skill, again, your adherence, and what you can actually stick to over time. So guys, I'm going to leave it there because otherwise it's going to get too much in depth and I don't want to confuse you too much. And I promise I'll keep these short and sweet. But if you do have any questions or queries, as always, let me know in the comment section below. If you like the video, share it with someone who will benefit from this as well. There's lots of people out there at the minute that would help validate this, that will help alleviate a lot of confusion. Okay, dispel a lot of myths and help them be more effective in their training programming. And as always, if you want more in-depth information, make sure you jump into that academy as well. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode where we're going to be going over progression.